big news out of Everton. Marcus Edwards potentially heading back to England. Is this the deal that Everton can get done? Because this is a high-level player that they're linked with.
Yeah, it's an interesting link, Marcus Edwards with Everton. Obviously, we know Everton are very keen to sign a winger in this transfer window. They've been looking throughout the month of January to see if there's anybody they could bring in. Edwards is the latest name. He fits the profile they're looking for, a right-sided, left-footed winger, and just remains to be seen if they can agree a fee with Sporting Lisbon for the former Tottenham youngster. You're probably looking around 10 million plus, I think, for Sporting to sell him. He's been out of favour with the Portuguese side this season, especially since Ruben Amorim's departure. He's hardly featured since. I think he hasn't played in their last 6 league games. He doesn't seem to be in the plans of the new manager at Sporting Lisbon as well. So yeah, could be an option maybe there for Everton to offer him the chance to come back to the Premier League. I'm sure it's something that he would be interested in, but I think it'll all come down to the asking price for Marcus Edwards. But yeah, a good young player. A couple of seasons ago, there was a lot of talk of a lot of the big Premier League clubs were interested in him as well. So it would be a bit of a coup for Everton if they were able to sign Marcus Edwards, who, let's not forget, was described as a mini Messi by Mauricio Pochettino in the early days at Tottenham. He hasn't fulfilled that hype, but yeah, definitely a talented player, and it could be a smart move by Everton and David Moyes if they're able to bring him to Goodison Park.
And Pete, how much would that fee maybe look like, or would it be a loan deal?
Well, I'd imagine Everton would prefer a loan deal, but I think Sporting Lisbon would prefer to sell him on a permanent basis. As I said, I think it would take £10 million plus for Sporting to sell him. Whether Everton can sit down and agree a loan deal with an obligation to buy at the end of the season if they stay up, I'm sure talks like that are ongoing. I think it's also a case that maybe Edwards has been offered to Everton rather than Everton actually openly pursuing the winger. He's out of favour at Sporting Lisbon, so he will be looking for a move away to sort of kickstart his career. But I'm sure there's a number of wingers on that list that David Moyes and the recruitment team are looking at, and we know any financial deals are going to be very difficult for Everton to do in this window due to the ongoing financial issues, PSR and everything else, despite the takeover by the Freaking Group.
And Paul, Premier League veteran Willian has recently become a free agent. Could you see him going to Everton and making an impact the rest of the season, helping them stay in the Premier League?
No. I think at his age now, what was he, 36, playing in that position, the left wing position. He left Olympiacos, obviously now without a club. Left Olympiacos for a reason, not getting into the manager's plans there. And I think when you're at the stage of his career where he's at, I'm not so sure what stomach he would have for a relegation fight, in all honesty. Because that's what Everton are still in. They're looking to stay in the Premier League. You look at his career when he was with Arsenal, then went to Fulham. Yeah, you saw some of the best of him at Fulham, but he was certainly on his way down rather than upwards. And then going to Olympiacos now and being without a club. Listen, there's a reason he's without a club, and he's not played football for a long time. Everton are going to need players who are going to have an impact on the side. So you look at these free agents now in this market. Clubs like Everton are going to explore the ones where they're able to buy players who are match fit, who are ready to go. For Willian, I don't see any route back to the Premier League for him, in all honesty, not at his age and sat without a club.
And Pete, Everton have 2 strikers who are linked to potentially leave during this transfer window, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Beto, of course. If they were able to get a fee for one of the two, could you see them being able to bring in maybe Evan Ferguson on loan or potentially a loan with an option to buy type of deal?
Yeah, I think obviously if Everton do lose one of their strikers in Beto or Calvert-Lewin, David Moyes will be demanding that a replacement is brought in. Obviously Evan Ferguson has been mentioned as potentially one of the targets, but it won't be a straightforward race for Everton. For Ferguson, a number of Premier League clubs are interested in the Republic of Ireland international, and it's still unclear whether Brighton will sanction a loan move for him in this window. He's still working his way back to fitness himself. He's not available this weekend as well, so I think it's an ongoing process. I think ideally Everton, they'll probably want to keep Calvert-Lewin. Had a great game against Spurs at the weekend, got that lovely goal as well. And as I said, when you've got a fit and firing Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's a top striker and it can cause a real headache for defenders. So I think right now, although his contract situation is maybe not the best for Everton with him in the final 6 months of his contract, I think keeping a fit and firing Calvert-Lewin could go a long way to keeping Everton up. But yeah, I think if they were to lose either Calvert-Lewin or Beto, I think it's essential that they bring in a replacement. Whether that's Ferguson or someone else, we'll have to wait and see.
Yes, and Ferguson would be a great signing for anybody, wouldn't he? I mean, you look, what was it, 12 months ago? We were talking figures of 80, 90, 100 million we've been touted about for Evan Ferguson because of the quality that he's got. He came in, he scored the goals in the Premier League, proved he could do it at that high level, and obviously with injuries and out of form or whatever, he's not managed to get back into the side. So we're looking at a team like Everton potentially getting him on loan. I think for anybody who could get Evan Ferguson on loan, it would be a good signing for them, because you know, we've got a lot of there's a lot of people with short memories in football, and us even more so in the media, unless you do your homework. But you look back, it wasn't long ago that we were putting big figures around the neck of Evan Ferguson. So a loan move for him could be a real coup for another team if they can get the best out of him.